Thank you for tuning in to Casual Clixing. Welcome to the Ultron hack. Thor and Captain America have received a mysterious Avengers Assemble signal from Iron Man himself, summoning them to Iron Man's workshop. When they get there, Iron Man is just as confused as they are because Iron Man didn't send a signal. The lights begin to flicker, and the mastermind reveals himself on screen, and it turns out to be none other than Ultron, saying that he has hacked the Avengers training program and he's reprogrammed the training drones to attack the Avengers. This is going to be a 300-point battle, following the Heroclix solo play rules. If you haven't had a chance to check out my introductory video to the Heroclix solo rules, I recommend you do that before you watch this video because there may be some things here that may be confusing to you if you're not familiar with the Heroclix solo rules. The team that the Trinity Avengers are facing is just a collection of figures from the Battlegrounds Avengers vs. Masters of Evil. It uses everyone except for Hulk and Ultron, and they're all set at their starter point level. So let's begin. The Trinity Avengers won initiative roll, so they get to go first, and they roll a 5 for their deployment roll. With frontline firepower drawn, I have to move Iron Man first, and he's going to take Captain America with him, and Thor is actually going to follow them. The strategy for this turn with the Trinity Avenger team was really just to block the line of fire to make sure that they weren't able to get attacked the following turn by using the elevated terrain to their advantage. The Avengers of Evil team gets +2 to their deployment roll because Captain America and Baron Zemo both have leadership. Captain Marvel starts the turn by picking up Black Widow, and she places Black Widow on a heavy object. That way she gets the +1 hindering terrain bonus to her defense. The following turn, Iron Man takes Baron Zemo along for a ride, and they both end up inside hindering terrain to get a bonus as well. Using the chaos in Iron Man's workshop to their advantage, Mach 10 carries Captain America into some obscuring terrain right in the center of the map. And for their final action, the Winter Soldier decides to take cover in the same obscuring terrain. And on the Trinity Avengers deployment roll, they roll a 3 for conservative tactics, which is not ideal because both Thor and Iron Man have tokens, and that means they won't be able to act this turn. So I'm really banking on Captain America's It's an Avengers World trade to hit here. Unfortunately, Captain America doesn't get his leadership roll, but Iron Man and Thor do. With this stroke of luck, I decide to push my advantage, and I decide to be more aggressive with the Trinity Avengers. I did this because the leadership rolls freed up some action, so I figured that the following turn they'll still be able to act anyway. I found a way to position the Trinity Avengers so they all benefit off of Iron Man's defend trait. Meanwhile, Thor looked to take the action into his own hands and try to take the Winter Soldier down a peg to get him off of that ranged combat expert. Captain America moves in with charge, targeting Captain Marvel. With the three Avengers adjacent to each other, they can now share Iron Man's 18 defense, and hopefully that'll help him out for at least one turn because the attack rolls this turn weren't so great. Starting with the 50-point characters, Ultron sends the hacked Red Skull bot to put his poison to use against Captain America, as Captain America lacks damage reducers. And he also outwits Iron Man's Invincible. Ultron, as if adding insult to injury, uses the hacked Iron Man drone to attack Iron Man himself. And he buffs his attack with ranged combat expert to increase his chances to hit Iron Man's 18 defense. After taking 3 damage, Baron Zemo sees a weak spot in Iron Man's armor, and despite the Trinity Avengers' best efforts, Iron Man gets KO'd. Outnumbered now 8-2, things aren't looking too good for the Trinity Avengers. A 5 for deployment means that Thor will lead the charge. Captain America's It's an Avengers World trade continues to be useful. It's at this moment that I realize what a huge threat Red Skull is, so I decide to take action with Thor to try to take him off at least his outwit. And unfortunately, Red Skull has poison all throughout his dial, so Captain America is still looking to take 1 damage the following turn. After this miss, things don't look so good for the Avengers as they're already outnumbered as it is. And because the opposing team has 2 characters with leadership, they keep getting +2 to their deployment rolls, which are helping them tremendously. And for Ultron's team of hacked bots, I keep attacking Thor trying to get him off of that 4 damage click. The hit by Captain Marvel reveals a flurry click by Thor with 4 damage. I keep attacking until he seems way more manageable. Mach 10 carries Captain America away to safety so they can both take advantage of their energy shield deflection. Meanwhile, Iron Man takes a sidestep free action. The Trinity Avengers' luck doesn't seem to be getting any better as they roll a reinforce for the opposing force. This is a 300-point game. 25% of the game's build total equals to 75 points, so I can recruit any character 75 points or less. With Hulk and Ultron sitting on the sideline, I decide to bring in the Hulk as his super strength can get past Thor's defenses. More bad luck as Thor and Captain America both miss their leadership roles, so Thor decides to unleash the furies of the gods. And he manages to knock out Winter Soldier and Red Skull. And with yet another unrestricted operations, Ultron is not taking it easy at all on the Trinity Avengers. The hacked Iron Man prepares his targeting systems and uses Range Combat Expert to boost his attacks to guarantee a hit on Captain America. After knocking out Captain America, the Trinity Avengers are in danger of being routed should they roll a 3 or less on their deployment roll. Meanwhile, Ultron's hacked training drones continue the onslaught on Thor. Hulk picks up an object to prepare a devastating attack the following turn, and Captain Marvel tries her luck against Thor. In what may be too little too late, Thor continues to fight and decides to unleash a flurry of attacks on the Hulk. Even though Thor knows that it's a hacked Ultron drone, he still wants to show the Hulk who's the strongest Avenger. Unfortunately, he doesn't do anything besides anger this Hulk. And with another unrestricted operations, Hulk sizes up Thor as he prepares to unleash a devastating attack. And with this attack, Hulk shows Thor who the real strongest Avenger is. Okay, so problem number 1. I knew that the teams were going to be a little unbalanced going into this, but I didn't know they were going to be so unbalanced. Which is fine, these are not teams that I'm actually looking to continue playing. These are teams that I just kind of threw together to test some leadership rules out. And this is what I'm talking about. The 300-point team had 2 characters with leadership. It was Captain America and Baron Zemo. Both had leadership on their starting clicks, on their first 2 clicks actually. So they were constantly getting that +2 to their deployment roll, which didn't create for much variety, and it let them pretty much dominate. As you saw, because I think there was one time they got frontline firepower, but the rest of them were unrestricted operations, I think. And so these are some of the changes that I'm actually considering looking into based off of this particular playtest. As it reads right now, the deployment orders say, note the value of the deployment die that is higher, or in either case in the doubles, or either in the case of doubles, and add +1 to it for each friendly character on the battlefield with leadership as a standard power, or a special power currently showing on the dial to a maximum of 3. So it counts each character with leadership, and it just keeps adding to the leadership. But the more characters you have, the higher your deployment orders are going to be, the less restrictions you have. It doesn't create for much variety, which kind of took the fun away from playing a solo game because one team just dominated. It needs to be a little more balanced in that case. Now, it didn't help that the teams were also, like I said, unbalanced. So as it stands, if I were to change it, if I were to keep testing this and I keep getting the same result with different teams, that just having more leadership in the team in general lets you pretty much act how you want every turn, which can be kind of overpowering. And this is what I would change it to. And add +1 to it if a friendly character on the map can use leadership to a maximum of +1. So that way you do still get a bonus for having leadership, but it's not per character to a maximum of 3. And this way it also includes characters that have traded leadership, like Captain America. Poor Trinity Avengers, as if they didn't have it bad enough. The way the rules are actually written, it doesn't let you use traded leadership because it says add +1 to it for each friendly character on the battlefield with leadership as a standard or special power currently showing on the dial. So the way it's worded, this Captain America wasn't able to take advantage of that, and who knows, maybe some of those roles may have turned out to be a little bit better for them to kind of help them out, balance things out. But like I said, because both teams were unbalanced, I'm going to try to make better balanced teams that have the same situation, that one team will have a plethora of leadership characters, whereas the other team won't, to see if there is like a big disadvantage when it comes to making those deployment rolls. And if you haven't followed me on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. I do post some behind the scenes things on Twitter's pictures, video links, just to give you an idea as to what's coming up with Casual Clixing. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Casual Clixing. Don't forget to like and subscribe, that way you get notified when a new video comes out. And thank you so much for watching.